Then Jesus said to his disciples, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways. You must take up your cross and follow me. Now, I know you've all read that verse before. You've all heard that verse before. But I want us to pay attention. These are people that have walked with him for almost 3 years. So I can see them saying, wait a minute, Jesus, we are following you. We've given everything for you. You know, we left our businesses, we left our families, we want to be your disciples. What are you saying if any of you wants to be my follower? And some of us today, you might be saying, well, Pete, I've been a believer for 10 minutes, for 10 days, for 10 years, and are you saying that I'm not doing this? I'm not carrying my cross? Listen, Jesus' own words, if any of you wants to be my follower, these are things that you must do. He says you must turn from your selfish ways. We're called to lay something down, to deny ourselves. It's not about self-help, it's about self-sacrifice. It's not about me, but it's about others. Jesus left everything behind for us. He was selfless and not selfish. And my challenge for you is this Easter, don't make it about you, but make it about others. Make it about others. And as I prepared for this message, I believed in my whole heart that I needed to challenge each and every one of you that for some of us, man, this has been a long time coming. But carrying your cross is caring about other people. It's about putting others before you. And ultimately, the first and most important concern that we have for others is their soul, their condition. Do they know Jesus Christ? And I know that each and every one of us knows somebody in our lives that desperately needs Christ. And this might be a person that has encountered Christ, but they're in a difficult spot. And for some reason, this has become so difficult for us as Christians in this day and age that we feel that we can't even reach across and say, hey, would you like to come to church with us? It's mind-boggling to me. Because someone did that for you. Listen, I was the kind of kid that walked down the street and no one would give a tract to. I was the kind of kid that, ladies, if you had your purses, you'd cross the street. But someone had the guts to say, hey, do you want to come to church? And I was not only willing, but I was hungry. They didn't have to ask me twice. Do you realize this awesome gift that God has given us, that we can be a part of His kingdom building, that we can be a part in reaching out to someone's life so that they can encounter Christ and be healed and be saved? And I'm just going to share a story. And I asked if it was okay, and Jay said it was okay. But it's not just about someone who maybe doesn't know the Lord, but you know, Jay knew the Lord. But me and Jay, we had met a couple times along the way before he was part of this church, and we had struck up it wasn't a deep friendship, but we knew each other. But someone told me about his plight, and that he had gone through a very difficult time, and he had been deeply hurt by a church and through a church. And my heart broke for him. And I felt God saying, reach out to him. Reach out to him. And I did. I took him out to lunch, and I just heard his story, and it broke my heart. And I said, Jay, listen, come to church. Just hang out. It's a safe place. We'll love you, and you don't have to, it's not about getting a job or working. It's simply just come and let God minister to you. And Jay did that, and here he is. And here he is years later as a pastor of the church, simply because I listened to God. I was obedient. And he can share that story with you guys personally. But it didn't stop there, because Jay did the same things for James. And when James was struggling and was hurting, he reached out to him. And the point that I'm making is there are people in our lives that need for us to reach out to them. Right now, we know them. They're in our minds already. They're the neighbor across the street, the single mom who's struggling with her kids, and you've watched her struggle and struggle. It's your elderly neighbor who's all alone and has no family. It's that coworker that you know is struggling through a divorce or experiencing a difficult season. These are real people, real lives, real souls that need the touch of Jesus Christ. And my challenge for you today is you got to reach out. You have to. Part of taking up your cross is giving up your selfish ways. And as simply as I can put it, stop just making it all about you. Stop making it all about us. Let's make it about somebody else. In this season especially, the season that we celebrate the cross, all the work of the cross and the resurrection of Jesus Christ.